economics, live and in the flesh. We are still alive. We are still active. We are still independent news. You know, it's been a crazy 24 hours. It's been a crazy 24 hours. Crazy. Like, let me just turn up my volume a little bit. Check one, check two, check three. Check one, check two, check three. Check one, check two, check three. Check three. Check one, check two, check three. My bad. I just want to turn this shit up slightly up. Yeah, so it's been a crazy 24 hours. We got a lot of fucking insane shit going on right now. We got obviously the ongoing situation in Iran. We got the shooting that happened in San Diego, which was a full-blown terrorist attack. We got Trump at the same time flexing his ballroom after, during the middle of the American empire collapse. We got him also using taxpayer money to bail out the motherfuckers that did an insurrection. It's a lot of fuck shit going on right now, and we're going to get into it. Let me just send this link out to everyone saying I'm live. Fuck, did that shit even send in the Discord? Okay, it did send in the Discord. That's good. Yeah, the San Diego thing is probably what we're going to get into first, because I want to talk about like Terrorgram, which it seems like that was the main cause of what caused this. Essentially, it's like a splinter cell of a bunch of nihilistic kids that, instead of being on like Discord, they're on Terrorgram. Not even like on no Nazi groiper shit. They're literally out here trying to motherfucking kill people for the sake of killing people. There was one dude who was like a black white supremacist or something like that was part of this group in Telegram, and he looked crazy as fuck. It was honestly something that I was literally talking about this to my homie who just had a daughter, and he was talking about how he is going to be like such a good parent and like take her to museums and like really regulate how much internet time that she has. And I really feel like it's way different than we were growing up. Like, I'm only 30 years old, right? The internet was crazy. Yeah, there was those crazy ass chat rooms and shit like that. But we didn't have like terror cells in the sense that niggas were like organizing fucking like murders and like religious hate crimes and shit like that. I mean, I'm sure they sort of were. I mean, maybe Osama bin Laden sort of did that type of shit, but they were on like the bootleg internet. They weren't on the same fucking shit that we had going on right now. Let me just make sure that this shit posted that I'm also live on YouTube. But yeah. So basically, yeah, we doing that right now. Let me make sure that this shit posted on my fucking YouTube. No, it didn't post on YouTube. Why the fuck does this shit not post on YouTube? Also live on YouTube. Dude, like, StreamCord is so motherfucking ass. I don't know why this shit, like, doesn't show that we are live on motherfucking YouTube. It says that I've been streaming for 22 minutes. That doesn't even make sense. At everyone, just the formalities. Everyone, just in case. I don't know why the fuck it says that we were live on YouTube 22 minutes ago, but we're currently motherfucking live on YouTube. Alright, we good. I'm about to rock this motherfucking Michael Jackson glove, on the left hand to get this shit motherfucking started with this crazy ass news and shit like that, man. But you already know what's going on. We gotta have some positivity in this motherfucking shit, because it's up to us with independent media to fight all these groypers, to fight all these right-wing Nazis, to fight all these conservatives that want to take away your rights, women's rights, black rights, voting rights, every single motherfucking right. Who's going to be the people fighting for you? Corporate media don't give a fuck about none of y'all. They'll sell you out for the bottom dollar. So at the end of the day, this is what we're fucking doing on this channel. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, and we're gonna get this shit in the motherfucker started, twin. First, I gotta pop out this Celsius. Maybe I should really start streams like shotgunning a Celsius, but I feel like I might have a fucking heart attack. I'm not 100% sure. But let's get into this motherfucking shit. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. We're gonna start with the mosque shooting because this was a terrorist attack that happened very close to me, and it's pretty scary. I have friends that are in San Diego and shit. Dude, my bad for this shit. Straight tweaking. Fuck is this shit tweaking? All right, let's go.
Information from the San Diego police chief, specifically the timeline. What he said is just a little over 2 hours ago, authorities were called to the Islamic Center of San Diego due to reports of.
This was, I think, the biggest mosque in California, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the biggest mosques in the U.S.
Gunshots. He said they arrived within about 4 minutes, police did, and then found these three men.
RIP to the security guard, which we're going to get into later, but he basically gave his life for the mosque. I'm not sure. I know 3 people died. I know he's one of the people, but I don't know if the 3 adults are counting the shooters because they were teenagers close to adult age, but we're going to get into that later.
Victims in the parking lot of the mosque. He said authorities then went to try to enter the mosque, as they often do. They'll try to identify any potential shooter, but then police got calls of yet more shots fired at another area near the mosque. They then went to that location. They said they learned that there was a landscaper there who had been fired upon, but thankfully was not struck by bullets. But here, I have to admit, Jake, is the most strange, bizarre, however you want to describe it, part. Authorities say that they found 2 men ages 17 and 19 in a vehicle they believe to be the suspects. They believe they died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. That raises...
Oops, didn't mean to mute.
Obviously, what...
So basically, my bad. Basically, these dudes pulled up to the mosque. They shot a security guard and then shot 3 other people, and then their pussy asses motherfucking killed themselves before they could even be like caught. And apparently on their guns they had written out, you know, like some white supremacist terroristic shit. And yeah, so let's keep going.
Potential motivation there was here. We have had this question over the last couple hours whether the shooter or shooters, plural, may have been associated with this mosque or whether this was complete, targeted violence from the outside. We did appear to get some indication of an answer to that from the police chief, because he said that they have now brought in the FBI, the San Diego field office. He said they are treating this as a hate crime until they've determined that it's not. And of course, what that signals to us is that that would not appear to be someone who was a member of the Islamic Center there, if they're describing this as a hate crime. But again, a lot of questions here. We've covered, you and I, so many acts of mass violence in this country, so many shootings. Rarely do you ever see 2 people engaged in the same type of targeted act of violence.
So the thing that really sort of freaked people the fuck out was the fact that it was 2 people. Usually when this type of thing happens, it's like a lone wolf, isolated shooter that is, like Thomas Crooks or some shit, or like Cole Allen Thomas, someone that's like a recluse that literally just be on their own shit, not really motherfucking like talking to anyone. But this being 2 people sounds like it was a coordinated effort, because who the fuck wants to coordinate an effort of killing yourself? You have to be extremely radicalized. And people talk about radicalization with like Islam, but really the biggest threat of radicalization, besides this is probably like white supremacist, I think they talk about great replacement theory, and we're going to get into it later. But I definitely think that the biggest threat right now is like isolated, like sort of political, but really just terroristic for the sake of doing terrorism, like with Terrorgram and shit. So, yeah. let's see.
In a shooting. But here, authorities say they believe that these are two teens are indeed the suspects. A lot of questions about who they are.
Crazy that it's teens. I don't know if y'all have seen the movie The Drama, where it was about Zendaya being a school shooter. I don't want to motherfucking like give it up to you, but like it talks about this and like so it's a hate. I don't know why this shit just took so fucking long to like span right there on the YouTube chat. That was fucking weird. Yeah, it's definitely a hate crime. It's a hate crime, but like it's also motherfucking like it's like yes, they hated Islam and stuff, but like we're gonna get into like these terror cells that are just for the sake of terrorism. But yes, it was a hate crime. But there are also like these groups called Terrorgram where they just kill people for the sake of fucking killing people. And they'll target like random ass people. Like they shot at the janitor in this situation that had nothing to do with Islam. Dude, that was so weird how that fucking like YouTube chat thing just like popped up so like slowly.
Motivation was, and obviously why they decided to take their own lives outside this houses of worship. A lot of we often say that there are a lot of questions, more questions than answers. This is truly one of those very peculiar situations that authorities are trying to get to the bottom of. Jake,
Steve Moore, what was your first reaction to what we heard from police, the San Diego Police Department, about the shooting at the largest mosque in San Diego County?
Yeah, this is the largest.
I was kind of surprised at the fact that we didn't know that there were 5 fatalities until now. It obviously happened in a very short amount of time when and they found the shooters fairly quickly. What's interesting to me, Jake, is
they found the shooters quick as fuck because they killed themselves. And like I was saying before, the weird thing about it is usually these shooters are like lone gunmen that are like super fucking lonely. These were 2 teenagers, and it's almost like a school shooter situation, but it was like a radicalized terrorist school shooter. And we're gonna get into that and why that is fucking crazy. And a lot of it has to do with the internet. A lot of it has to do, I feel like it's connected to everything, connected to the shit with like Chud the Builder, connected to like all the shit that people see on the internet, just like this hatred for people. And it's really just turning our society. I mean, it's always been like this with like clan members and shit like this, but it's really turning our shit. Like, we're in a soft civil war right now. And I mean, all y'all could do, if I were you, I would just get armed, man. I'm not saying to do no crazy shit, but like, I would just be careful.
Is that obviously 2 shooters, you rarely get that. The other thing is that I responded to an active shooter one time who went to a Jewish community center. And after escaping from the Jewish community center, he shot a postal worker who was non-white. And the reason was he was a white supremacist, and that was fair game for him.
That's crazy.
The fact that they just randomly shot at a gardener makes me wonder if they had an agenda.
That's part of the shit that I'm talking about with like Terrorgram. Like, they just want to commit terrorism. Like, yes, it's rooted in like a hate crime, and it is a hate group. But it's kind of hard to describe. Like, we're going to get more into what it actually is. But it's like, it's a group more, like, hate is part of it. I would say hate is like 50% of it. But then just doing terrorism is like, I wouldn't even say that. Hate is like 20% of it. Yeah, like, yes, they hate. But terrorism is like the main thing that they do. Like, they really love previous shooters. Like, they'll have like insignias on their guns of previous shooters, like the dude that shot up the mosque in motherfucking New Zealand and shit like that. They just love the fact that they could fucking kill people for some reason. I'm trying to move this so the chat isn't in the motherfucking way. Yeah, so let's keep going with this.
That
also
would involve
Jake Tapper's like the worst person to really talk about this shit, because Jake Tapper is Islamophobic as fuck, and like, I'm not trying to like, dismiss anti-Semitism, but like, bro just kind of made it about himself straight up, like talking about like in his a whole situation that was anti-Semitic, when like literally multiple people died in this mosque in a gruesome ass way in broad daylight. So I mean, way to make it about you, but okay. That's just
I don't
my
know, white
opinion.
supremacy, something like that, that would cause an anger at Muslims, and at the same time, people who might appear not to be citizens.
Josh Sherrard, police said the suspected shooters appeared to have died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. They were 17. They were 19. We were told. What does that say to you?
17 and 19.
You know, the questions that we're going to have to answer concerning where to go from here is, were they involved in a larger operation?
Yes, they were involved, because what 17 and 19-year-old just picks up a fucking gun and shoots people, man?
Need to be digging into investigating their homes.
This is another thing too. Like we're the Trump administration is dropping that whole thing about like Marxists and like Marxist-Leninists and communists and shit like that, and investigating people like us, basically wanting to throw us into freedom camps and shit. When in reality, we're the ones that are organizing and doing shit that's like safe. At the end of the day, or legal. At the end of the day, yeah, there's some anarchists and shit like that, but it's not like, where do you really see? The only example I see of like someone that was a left-wing person actually doing like a terrorist attack that killed someone was when that person shot up that Israeli event and killed those 2 staffers and shit. But more likely than not, it is some motherfucking like right-wing shit. Yo, I don't know why the YouTube chat be going slow as fuck. What the hell did that shit just even say? I might have to read that YouTube shit on my phone, because like, what the fuck? That was very interesting. I've never seen something like that. Yeah, it's a hate group. I don't know why that shit like took mad long to like pop up and shit. Anyways, and it's not showing up again, but let's keep going into this shit.
Their digital assets, social media accounts, discords they may have been a part of, wondering if they were part of a larger organization or group.
And we're going to answer whether or not it's part of a larger organization or group, and the details that the mom have about this situation.
And we begin with the latest on the deadly shooting spree at the largest mosque in San Diego, which is being investigated as a possible hate crime.
You know, police say 2 teenage suspects stormed the Islamic Center, killing a security guard and 2 other people. The gunmen were later found dead at the scene.
Alex Hogan is live in Washington with the latest. Good morning, Alex.
Hi, Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence. So at least 5 people are dead, including 2 gunmen at the Islamic Center of San Diego. This is in Claremont. Among the victims was a security guard at the center, and law enforcement are now praising him as a hero.
Bro was a hero.
We do believe the security guard was able to help at least minimize the situation to the front area of the mosque. Until we know more, I don't want to speculate, but at this point, I think it's fair to say
someone got really fucking mad at the mayor, because the mayor was like basically being extremely Islamophobic, and we're gonna get into that shit too. That's the dude that's like back there.
His actions were heroic, and undoubtedly he saved lives today.
Shots rang out at the center just before noon Pacific time yesterday.
It's actually crazy too, because the mom actually called the police, and the police were just sitting there with their thumbs in their ass, like not knowing what the fuck was going on, essentially. And they were just like, I don't even know. She said that, I mean, I'm gonna let them tell the story, but essentially she said that her guns were missing, her kids were like wearing camo and shit, they were like talking about hate crimes and shit. And like, she called the police, and the police just didn't even know what to do. They were just sitting around jerking each other off. It's crazy, man.
Responding in full force, because they were already searching for one of the suspects. At the time, they were using license plate reading technology. The teen's mom had actually called police about 2 hours prior after seeing that some of her weapons were missing and finding a note from her teenage son.
Bro left a note too.
She believed her son was suicidal, and she began to share information that several of her weapons were missing. Her son was with a companion,
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the parents never locking up the guns.
In that
just
they
so
were
people
dressed
could just
in
do
camo,
this type of shit.
and that is not consistent with
Especially in California, it's like you could have guns, but the laws are like you have to fucking like lock the guns up. Very like, especially if you have kids, you have to lock them up. But obviously, if they're old enough, they teach their kids like how to unlock it, which kind of defeats the fucking purpose and shit. But really, it should be some finger like scanning type device. Or just don't let your suicidal kid have a gun. Like, god damn, man. I wonder what gun he even used.
you would typically see from somebody that is suicidal. It's being investigated as a hate crime at this point. There was definitely hate rhetoric that was involved.
I don't know what else.
Law enforcement say the 2 teen suspects killed 3 people at the center before killing themselves a few blocks away in a vehicle in what appears to be self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Yesterday marked the start of the annual Hajj pilgrimage season. This is one of the most sacred times in the Muslim faith. And according to the center, this is the largest mosque in the San Diego community. The center offers studies and courses for children as young as 5 years old. And you can see in this footage more than a dozen children being walked out of the center. They're holding hands after those shots ring out. The mayor telling residents that the San Diego Police Department will increase its presence at all houses of worship, and the same concerns across the
or just a safe that you don't tell them the password to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would make way more fucking sense than just like, what's the point of just giving them a motherfucking safe that they could just access easy as shit? But I guess no one really expects their son to go on a killing spree. But if your son's walking around on a terroristic fucking group and he's like with weirdo friends rocking around, rocking camo and shit, you should at least put your guns out of reach of that motherfucker.
The country today, even in New York City, the NYPD will increase its presence at mosques across the city today. Back to you.
Wow.
Okay. Thanks,
Alex.
So San Diego police confirming 2 teenage gunmen opened fire outside the Islamic Center of San Diego. It happened Monday afternoon, killing 3 individuals before taking their own lives just a few blocks away.
Of course,
now the FBI and local law enforcement are working to determine a motive for the attack on the largest mosque in the county.
We are actively investigating this as a hate crime.
What I said on YouTube was I seen a video that stated there are white supremacist compounds all over the U.S. and in those compounds they train and worship mass shooters. Yes, that's basically what I was talking about. And there's actual like motherfucking like groups that are like splinter cells that aren't even physical, that are literally just like online groups, like how we have Discord, where they literally do the same thing and train and worship these fucking shooters and shit like this.
There are details and information that we are investigating as to exactly what those what the hate speech or the hate words were that were conveyed. Some of that is going to have to take.
I'm gonna turn on Castro Labs because maybe it will make the chat a little
more
bit
time to develop further to see where that information is coming from.
So let's bring in former Assistant FBI Director Chris Swecker. Chris, from what we know, these 2 teens, the mom knew something, they were violent, tried to head it off before it happened. She was not successful. What do you take away from this?
It's a failure on the police.
Yeah, Brian, this was an extraordinarily dramatic set of events that took place yesterday where we finally get a parent, a mother calling in about her son and the red flags that he had been displaying.
And what were the
taking
police
a car,
fucking
he'd
doing?
taken weapons, dressed in camouflage.
Like, you saw your son dressed in weapons, dressed in camouflage, walking around. Like, you can't open carry guns in California. Like, this is a major fucking issue and a security lapse. I don't know what the fuck they were doing.
The police are searching for him, and it's a race against time when the shooting actually takes place at the Islamic Center. So it is extraordinary. I mean, this happened before in Boston where a police captain turned his son in back in 2015. But you don't see that very often. We're always talking about see something, say something. The question in my mind is, did she do it soon enough? And, you know, how was the teenager able to get his hands on those weapons? So that's part of the investigation.
This is
as
that
a hate
Fox
crime
News
here.
coverage, gang.
You know, it doesn't matter with respect to
They basically just straight up blame the mom for this shit. They said, did she find out fast enough? It's not her fault. Well, maybe it's sort of her fault for allowing this crazy shit to like even get to this point, but still.
Other than to get a handle on and an insight into their motivation, but it does matter as to whether someone aided and abetted or conspired with or enabled this attack.
Yeah, but I want to highlight something before we move on and talk about this more. There is a guy who might be doing over 100 years for his son shooting up a school. Oh, that's the Denver shit, right? I think that was in Denver. Yo, I'm glad the chat is back. Oh, yo, I want to talk about the Google CEO that got fucking booed also. But let's talk about the fucking hero, man. The security guard and shooting. Because his last message, if we can find it, I wish we could find his last message. Because someone had his last message. He was basically just saying that he was willing to give his life. Rip, bro. Like, who the fuck would do this shit, man? Like, he's a real ass nigga, man. At the end of the day, what the fuck is this? All right, let's see what's up. Of course it's like California or NY Post. Fuck this shit. I wish they could find like where that. This is the guy that basically like his name is Amin Abdullah. He's one of the nicest people that you will ever meet. I'm trying to find. He was one of the victims, but one of his last messages was like very, very positive, and he was just like saying that he was basically very proud of his job and he loved doing what he was doing, and like it's just really sad, man. It's just a sad situation, and of course, motherfucking right wingers are using this shit to basically, whenever it doesn't fit the narrative of like is Islam is evil, they say it's a false flag. People on Twitter are saying this is a false flag, or they're saying this is Muslim on Muslim crime and shit like that. I don't know why they just can't admit that white people are fucking crazy. And I'm trying to find more of the shooter's background a little bit, but this says new details.
And I do want to get back to a big story that we have been following over the last 24 hours or so.
Let's see.
We've just learned the names of the suspected teenage gunmen.
This is new. We just learned the names of the gunmen, and like we have like a little bit of their background and shit.
On yesterday's deadly attack on the largest Islamic center in San Diego. This is video showing heavily armed federal agents searching the home of one of those teens late last night.
Isn't it crazy that Kash Patel is like, all this shit is happening under Kash Patel's watch, man? Like, Kash Patel, I mean, this shit could happen under really anyone's watch, but Kash Patel is asleep at the goddamn wheel, because it seems like the most crazy fucking crimes be going on. Like, this type of shit obviously could happen to anyone, but like the Nancy Guthrie shit, like they still haven't. What happened to her? Like, no one's looking for her no more? Like, no one's like, where the fuck she's at? No one's questioning like where the fuck, what's good with her no more? Like, that shit is crazy to me, man. Like, Kash Patel's drunk as fuck right now, but I remember seeing an FBI agent saying that like he's not really too tripping about it because it doesn't affect him on a day-to-day basis, because it's like bureaucracy and a chain of command and shit. But just knowing that your boss is a fucking drunkard probably has morale a little bit of crazy, you know? But this is the type of shit that he should be responding to. But let's see.
And that attack has prompted increased law enforcement presence at houses of worship across Los Angeles.
Eyewitness News reporter Monica de Anda live outside the Islamic Center of Southern California in Koreatown with new.
They're in Koreatown. But yeah, they found the idea of the shooters.
New details, Monica.
Rachel, John, Tony, good morning. We'll get to how LAPD is increasing patrols here at our local houses of worship in just a second, but I want to start with this new information we are just learning. Authorities have told ABC News that they are investigating two teenagers, Kane Clark and Caleb Vasquez.
Kane Clark and Caleb. Oh, did I just find the guy's message? Oh, I did. I just found the fucking. Okay, this is what I was looking for. This is the last message of the security guard. Brother Amin Abdullah. He basically said, What is success? To many people, success is financially stability, good reputation, beauty, etc. As for me, wallahi, thumma wallahi, it is returning back to Allah, our Creator, with the same pure soul He loaned me at birth, having the malachi of Allah Ta'ala saying, "Don't fear and don't grieve, but receive the glad tidings of Jannah, which you are promised by the most forgiving, the most merciful. May Allah Ta'ala grant us hasna." I'm probably butchering this, but basically what he was saying is that like he was willing to do whatever like for his job, and like he was really out here risking his life. And it seems like he came to terms with the fact that, I mean, he didn't think that he would die, but if he did, it didn't seem like he would be the type of person that regretted dying trying to save people. And that's like pretty valiant. And I don't think that a lot of people would be like this, especially being at a security guard at a mosque at a time where like there's so much Islamophobia and shit. Like, you might not expect this type of crazy shit to happen, but man, it's just fucked up. But let's keep going with the team.
As the suspected attackers in a shooting at an Islamic center in San Diego Monday. This is new video that we want to show you from overnight of the moment heavily armed officers entered a home connected to one of the teen shooters. 3 innocent people were killed after police say 2 teen gunmen opened fire on the Islamic Center of San Diego in broad daylight.
Just like you think they would, the right wing is already trying to say that this is like a trans Antifa shooter, because like pictures of the shooter actually came out. I hate the fact that I'm showing libs of TikTok and shit like that, but this is one of the shooters, Kane Clark. I don't think they're trans. This is just a fucking white kid with braids and shit like that. This dude looks like he would be a fucking like school shooter. I'm not even gonna lie. Fuck that piece of shit. But let's keep going.
This morning, we're expecting to learn more about the 3 people killed, but the Islamic Center of San Diego has already identified one of the victims as a security guard who worked there. The center says Amin Abdullah, a devoted father of 8, put himself between the gunman and everyone inside, saving many lives.
It didn't matter who walked up, who came, like any random person could just walk up and he would greet them, make sure they're okay, whether they were homeless off the street looking for something, whether it was a child, an old elderly. My wife told me this morning he came to the car, not just to grab my son to get to class, but just make sure to say hello to me. And I didn't know it was gonna be the last time.
That's sad as fuck.
Let this go lightly. This is all because of hatred. Because of hatred being installed in people's hearts.
Yeah, they gotta charge whoever owned those guns, just like how they did in fucking Detroit. But I wonder how that would work, because I mean, like, she called the police, but obviously she didn't have them shits on point. White kid with braids is sus. Yeah, you cannot trust in a white nigga with braids. I mean, you could. It depends the type of braids. If they got cornrows, it's 50-50, man. They might be like a wigger, or they might be a crash out at the end of the day. And this dude was a crash out, and he's so young. Like, the nigga was like probably 2 years older from that point. Like that, it's just crazy.
Authorities say the 2 teen suspects, ages 17 and 18, carried out the attack. The suspects were later found nearby, dead, police say, from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. We are also learning anti-Islamic.
Because the shooters don't give 2 shit about you in life. They might care about their parents, so that might stop a lot of them from doing that. Yeah, you would think. But apparently these dudes didn't give a fuck about their parents.
Writings were found with the teen suspects and on one of the weapons, as well as a suicide note reportedly found. As police continue their investigation, the Muslim community has been left feeling vulnerable and uneasy. Back here at home.
Yeah, I would feel vulnerable and uneasy. If you have any like Muslim friends, man, definitely check on them, because it's like there's so much Islamophobia. And I feel like it's so understated. Like, we got these groups like the ADL. Like, there is a lot of like anti-Semitism going on, but like it's so understated. There's no groups that are out here fighting like Islamophobia, like the same way that people are using that are fighting anti-Semitism, and sometimes, you know, weaponizing anti-Semitism and shit like that.
Home LAPD issuing this statement that says in part, quote, currently there is no known threat to Los Angeles. We are providing extra patrols at mosques, Islamic centers, and all houses of
God damn, look at how many cops there were.
worship. Right now, we are outside the Islamic Center of Southern California here
This
in
shit, this Islamic Center of Southern California is right next to my house.
Los Angeles in Koreatown, and I can tell you there are already some people who have made their way inside of this house of worship, and we know that LAPD again is ramping up patrols, and at 2 o'clock this afternoon we are expecting a news conference right here with the community and interfaith leaders. Reporting live in Korea.
Yeah, so there is something that I want to talk about. This is sort of like
militant accelerationists are neo-Nazis who
this is like where these kids basically got their ideology from. We're gonna talk about Telegram. Anti-Semitism always gets checked, but people gotta fight to get people to consider Islamophobia hate crimes actual hate crimes for real. And then that's true. And then when it comes, they don't even have a word for black, like anti-black shit. And then in that, people just say, "Oh no, it was a joke." Oh no, like Islamophobia and anti-blackness are like the most common fucking like bigotries, and people just sweep that shit under the rug. Like the goalpost for that shit changes. And then they won't say it's actual Islamophobia until someone fucking dies. Or they don't say that it's like anti-black until someone gets fucking killed. But like the whole situation with the ADL basically weaponizing anti-Semitism alongside this going on is kind of crazy. But not to say that there isn't anti-Semitism, you know? Yeah, anti-blackness doesn't even sound as bad as anti-Semitism. They don't even give groups proper names. They need to make a better name, man. They need to make anti-black. They need to make it some scientific shit. Because if it's just anti-black, like, niggas are going to be like, I don't know if niggas going to fuck with that shit. Damn, man, I lost a follower. I guess they weren't fucking with this shit. Fuck them. Let's go.
militant accelerationists.
We're going to talk about like the rise of Telegram. Just a little bit.
Militant accelerationists are neo-Nazis who want to use terror and violence to bring down our government and create a new white ethno-state.
What's interesting about this collective is how transnational it is.
Yes, it's not just in one spot. It's transnational. Yeah, insane word. But yeah, it's not like it's just in San Diego. It's not just in the South. It's a whole fucking network, and it's all young ass kids. I don't know why I lost a follow. If it's probably a bot that unfollowed me for real, because I'm spitting knowledge right now.
People on Telegram were trying to stir other people.
Hey, I love this channel and subs. I'm not locked in, and this is sad. Aw, thank you. Appreciate it, gang.
To commit acts of incredible violence.
Were you talking to the water person? Anyways,
we've just learned the names of the suspected teenage gunmen behind yesterday's deadly attack on the largest Islamic center in San Diego.
Where's the
this
full
is video
Telegram video? This is just a here it is. I'm not gonna watch this whole thing, but I'm gonna give a little breakdown of what Telegram is. Telegram, as you can guess, is a bunch of people that are on motherfucking like that are on Telegram, and they're basically terrorists. But they're not just like, you know, like jihadists or some shit like that. They're neo-Nazi kids. And if you think Nick Fuentes is bad, or Brillium, or those niggas, this is like 1,000 times motherfucking worse. This is like, literally, this is my biggest fear. I started this channel really to combat like niggas like Nick Fuentes and stuff like this. But this is something that like everyone should be combating, because these are the type of people that influence those
Breaking
kids.
news after reports of a shooting. Multiple people ruthlessly gunned down. Police have also discovered a lengthy manifesto.
In collaboration with ProPublica, reporters A.C. Thompson and J.
It's basically their idealism is they're against the great replacement theory, which is something that Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes preach a lot, but they want to make Israel and America essentially make it like an all WASP Christian nation and shit like that. But at the end of the day, they're just talking about expelling, and I mean, it's still violence to, expel black and brown people. But these niggas on Telegram want to kill them all.
James Bandler investigate the global rise of a dangerous movement.
This is a very militant, aggressive, dangerous community.
The story that we unraveled was frankly very disturbing.
What's interesting about this collective is how transnational it is.
How they radicalized online.
He was a very active user of a lot of these channels.
And promoted violence.
Here was someone that they had successfully indoctrinated and encouraged to kill, and he'd gone out and done it.
Now on Frontline.
The thing is, it's like online spawns a bunch of weirdos that are super lonely. Like, if you're a content creator, you probably see some crazy shit. I posted something on my story where someone was like dropping hard R's saying that I don't deserve rights and shit like that on a private page. But it's like, there's different type of telegrams where you can see crazy shit. You can see gore, you can see beheaded children, you can see all types of wild shit. And then this is the cream of the crop of niggas that are like out here trying to motherfucking cause a race war.
The rise and fall of Telegram.
Because what old person you know be on Telegram?
You have to ask a question. What have we reaped as a result of this? What new whirlwind are we throwing ourselves into?
This is an ongoing problem because this is a year ago, but more than likely, the people that shot up the mosque were doing this type of shit.
This program contains graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Deadly attack that had... I was here to investigate a deadly attack that had terrorized this Central European city. It happened on the evening of October 12th, 2022. That night, on Zamoska Street, three friends sat talking outside a gay bar they frequented.
Yeah, they be attacking gay people, black people, Muslim. I mean, you know the gist, the classics. Anyone that's not white, even though one of the motherfuckers that was the suspect in the San Diego Mosque shooting was Hispanic.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Hey, appreciate the sub, and you see what it is when you get a sub. That's what it says. Oh shit! Here we go again. Of course, the 8chan people before moving to Telegram. Yeah, for real. I'm not even familiar if 8chan is still popping like that, but I'm sure there's still some.
Pre mňa keby také, že
Appreciate the sub though, Sir Rager.
Veľa ľudí tam malo podľa mňa nejakú tú druhú rodinu, aspoň tí, ktorí neboli doma vyautovaní.
Radka Traksiarova was catching up with her friends, Matush and Uri.
Vonku, keď bolo teplo, tak boli tri lavičky, kde sa dalo
Outside on the weather, on the streets, the weather was good. There were 3 benches to sit on, but no
sedieť, ale žiadny stôl. Juraj bol od chrbta, alebo sedel.
Someone was on the other side of the bench, which was
Matúš si zapálil, a potom
someone lit up a cigarette.
mu poviem, že si ešte niečo dám.
Radka saw another person standing in the shadows, not far from the bar.
A vtedy niekedy prišiel, strieľal
This guy appeared.
a tam stál.
He was just standing
Naše
there.
prvé myšlienky boli, že tam stál, lebo je asi tiež queer a bojí sa prísť
He was also maybe queer, just too shy to come in.
ďalej. A podobne, my sme sa mu aj pozdravili.
They said hello.
His name was Uri Krajcik. He was 19 years old.
Look at how young these motherfuckers be. Like, he's only 19 years old, and he's already motherfucking radicalized to fucking just kill people, man.
He was an intelligent
Look at
student.
this motherfucker. This looks like someone that you could grow up with, and I feel like not think that they could be this crazy, but the state of the internet is so different.
He was very good in English. He was usually alone. It was not suspicious to anybody at that time.
But earlier that day, Krajcik had posted a hate-filled manifesto online, full of false narratives and racist conspiracy theories.
Of course. Babyface killer. That's what I'm saying, gang. That shit crazy. And it was like he's only 19. Niggas be throwing their lives away doing this shit. And they didn't mention it in the last thing, but the mom said that they left a manifesto in the San Diego shooting that was like basically the same type of shit. They leave a manifesto because they try to collect them shits like Pokemon and one up each other.
He wrote that white people were facing a critical situation and that Jews and gay people should be eliminated.
Lebo asi kapucu určite na hlave. 40 minút približne.
Krycek pulled out a gun and aimed directly at the three friends.
A on strieľal z tejto strany. Čiže tam nie je šanca. A ja som počula, že...
She said there was no chance. It was roaring sounds and 9 shots that blended into one.
Ráchot, lebo tých 9 rán, ktoré boli... Jediné, čo viem, bolo iba, že padol Juraj pred nás a Matúš ma zhodil celou váhou na zem. V úplnom začiatku nevedela, že...
More into the bodies on the ground. Then he fled into the...
Polícia po útočníku.
Znaky zásady teroristického trestného činu.
Krycek was that in fact officials believed no one else was involved in the shooting. That Krycek was a so-called
but I want to get to the actual part where they talk about the online radicalization.
Lone wolf. But his manifesto contained clues that in fact he'd been radicalized by a global community of
2 years ago they did a shooting at a Christian school. I don't understand why. I think I know which one you're talking about. I forget the reason why. And I'm going to show a crazy ass example after this shit.
Online extremist to commit an act of 20.
And it also, the Terrorgram does kind of spawn from 8chan.
21st century terror. Of on contained clues that in fact he'd been radicalized by a global community of online extremists to commit an act of 21st century terror.
The Bratislava attack is important because it's a pure example of how influencers today can encourage and inspire other people to go out and commit acts of terrorism. It explains and shows how terrorism works today.
Yeah, terrorism is different than how it was in the motherfucking early 2000s where like niggas had like suicide vests, but we don't even see that shit anymore because in my opinion that was probably like some CIA psyop shit, not gonna lie. But nowadays it's more lone wolf people that are radicalized, that are straight up holy moly, the Christian school thing was a girl. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. I don't know if you can find a link for that, but was that that was Terrorgram 2, I'm pretty sure. And dude, it's crazy because it's like DEI fucking like white supremacists. Because there was a black dude that was a black white supremacist that did a school shooting in North Carolina like last year. We got so many motherfucking school shootings that it's hard to fucking keep track of it. Yes. Can you find the name of her? Because I want to get into that shit too.
For the past year, I've been reporting on the dark corners of the internet and social media that have given rise to a series of deadly far-right terror attacks.
The ecosystem is designed such that anyone can pop off and create a very high-impact, damaging attack on society at the drop of a hat.
With a team of reporters from Frontline and ProPublica, my colleague James Bandler and I have been investigating the anonymous and loosely moderated platforms where extremists have been able to share propaganda and terrorist instructional material.
It was allowing for really kind of unfiltered and unregulated hate and extremism to kind of run rampant.
And the transnational terrorist network behind the Bratislava attack, known as the Terrorgram Collective.
These people on the messaging and social media app Telegram were trying to stir other people to commit acts of incredible violence and to spark
the Natalie one after because that one was crazy too.
A race war.
Yeah, essentially Terrorgram is like a global phenomenon. Like this isn't just in Europe, this isn't just in America, this shit is every fucking where. So make sure, I mean, if you have kids, like, I feel for you. I know, like, my homie got kids right now, and take your kids to the goddamn museums. Make sure you, from a young age, like, make sure to put them around other kids and try to socialize them because you don't want them ending up like
war,
this.
Which they hoped would lead to a white ethno-state rising from the ashes.
basically Nick Fuentes.
Replace us! You will not 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 replace us!
I've been documenting hate groups in America for Frontline and ProPublica for almost a decade.
You gotta monitor your kids' social media consumption. I feel like as a kid, like, because I mean I'm 30 and I feel like most of us are like old enough that like I feel like this type of like there was always crazy shit. Like you could go on Live Leak, but that was like later. But like I feel like now it's less of just like, you know, just websites, but it's places that people can like meet and like strategize and stuff like that and radicalize each other, which is very fucking dangerous, man. I feel like Nick Fuentes does play a big role in this, and Tucker Carlson, I'm not gonna lie. Just talking about the great replacement theory and shit like that. Back in the day, we would look for it. Now kids are being fed it by the algo. Yes, that's true. It is definitely being fed by the motherfucking algorithm. And that shit is crazy as fuck.
In August 2017, I was in Charlottesville, Virginia, when white supremacists made their biggest public show of force in years.
White lives matter! White lives matter! White lives matter!
It was incredibly chaotic and disturbing.
The rally descended into racist, anti-Semitic violence.
If people don't remember, this is actually how fucking Nick Fuentes got his fucking this is like how he got his motherfucking clout. Like this is where he started. I guess this is the start of where they really started radicalizing online. That and like the the ProPublica shit, basically like forcing the algorithm to like make people hate their neighbors.
A young counter-protester was murdered. Far-right extremists were arrested, criminally prosecuted, and sued in civil courts.
We are here today to announce the arrest.
There's one example that I want to show that's crazy as fuck. We have the Natalie example, but then we also have the black white supremacist guy. This nigga was crazy. This is one of the craziest shit. This is why like those traitor ass flags in the White Lives Matter protests, for real. Like I don't know, but then it is traitorous. And then they're like, we're America first, but we're gonna have Confederacy flags and shit like that, man. That shit is goofy. They've done an attack in Turkey, but yeah, there was also recently an attack in Mexico. I don't know if y'all remember where they shot up the Mexican pyramid and killed 2 terrorists. I think that was Telegram also. So I feel like we be talking about Iran is the biggest state sponsor of terrorism. Nah, gang. I really think the biggest state well, I don't know if it's a state sponsor of terrorism, but Telegram is the biggest sponsor of terrorism. Like, well, obviously there's other sites and shit too. Like, it could be Discord also, but I feel like Discord is more positive, you know? Like, I feel like Telegram, I only see evil shit on there. But this is a black-white supremacist.
Killer at last year's Antioch High School shooting, influenced by neo-Nazis or other online extremists. Tonight, an exclusive News Channel 5.
This nigga was doing sig heils and had on Nazi hats and shit, gang. Like, what the fuck?
Investigation revealing it appears the shooter had so-called handlers who were egging him on.
And what's even more disturbing, investigators say those same extremist groups are continuing to target children, including kids right here in the mid-state. News Channel 5 chief investigative reporter Phil Williams has spent months digging into
Yeah, he was on Telegram for sure then if he had handlers and shit.
the story. Phil, parents are going to find this shocking.
Yeah, and they should. We now know that.
Yeah, Telegram is where my plugs. I was literally about to say that too. Like back in the day, like Telegram is like you only went on Telegram to find your weed plug when weed was illegal or some shit like that. You didn't go to Telegram to fucking commit mass atrocities. But I guess because it was encrypted, but I don't know how encrypted that shit is now today. Because like, you know, nothing is really encrypted. And still the NSA probably knows whenever you wipe your ass. But back in the day before they could figure all that shit out, Telegram, Signal, like all those shits. Or I was talking to my ex when I shouldn't have been. Yeah, that I don't know why you were using Telegram. Might as well just email that nigga.
Solomon Henderson himself left behind a recording in which he said he was motivated to kill by 2 of these extremist groups. They target children online around the globe, leaving behind a trail of victims like the one at Antioch High School. How do you make sense of a death so tragic? It's a
He was killing other minorities when he was a fucking minority, a black white
question that has
supremacist.
troubled the family
It's like a Dave Chappelle skit, but it's not funny.
of 16-year-old Diana Escalante.
Cada minuto, cada segundo, cada instante, siempre, siempre.
Remember that cop that used my case to hit on? Oh yeah. Oh, that's how you know. He's probably in that. He's probably in a fucking crazy ass Telegram also.
And why?
I don't trust no one that's on Telegram. I can trust you if you're on Discord. They do be some freak ass Discord. I feel like the freak level is like there be sex fucking group chats on Facebook. And that's freak level 2. Then Discord just be like gamers and then like e-kittens and weird ass shit like that. And then Telegram is like you're into some nefarious
Would
activity.
one of her Antioch High School classmates, 17-year-old Solomon
Unless I know you do coke, I'm assuming you're on there for your plug. For real.
Henderson
On Telegram. But then again, nowadays, like I feel like if you're on Telegram in 2026, you probably on there for terrorism, gang.
gunned her down in cold blood.
Once we saw how many chat rooms he was involved in, how many social media platforms he had, the lengths he went to cover it up, we realized it was a lot bigger than we could ever imagine.
Perhaps most troubling are the clues that continue to haunt the people involved in the investigation of the January 2025 school shooting. Clues suggesting that while
Dude, this is only 7 days ago.
Henderson may have pulled the trigger, someone else somewhere was calling the shots.
Damn, so imagine in this scenario, in the San Diego shooting, they had handlers too.
So when it comes to the Antioch shooting, he was targeted at a very young age. This wasn't something that happened.
Yo, okay, I did not know this about Telegram. Like I know they target like a lot of youth that are like, you know, super just don't have a lot of friends and shit like that, and just meet them online, get them into group chats and shit to try to like, you know, sort of get them on the good side of things, or so they think. But then in the end, they just push them to do violence. That's why I do the opposite with my Discord. I try to get people, not necessarily lonely people, cool people, just everyone just to, you know, be cool, do activism. Like I promote leftist ideas and shit like that. Instead of whatever the fuck
overnight, it was
is.
cultivated through years.
Captain Chris Dickerson heads the Metro Police Department division that investigates the threats from extremists. You say targeted. Someone was using him as a pawn in their game?
Yes, sir. A pawn, you know, using him as a weapon, an extension of what they wanted to happen.
This is crazy that this came out a year after the shooting and they still don't know who the fuck it was that was doing this shit.
Is there any doubt in your mind that he
It was people might hate me, but I think it was Mossad. I'm
had
just gonna say.
somebody?
Henderson was self-described as Mentacell, defined as someone who identifies as involuntarily celibate, incel, on the basis of intellectual or learning disability. Probably crazy. I do remember hearing
Somewhere
like that,
egging
like
him
a
on.
new type of term
Dr.
like
Amy
that.
Cooter is one of the founders of the Institute for Countering Digital Extremism, and she has carefully followed the Antioch High School shooters' digital trail.
Bro said negative XP.
Whether that person knew exactly what he was planning and for what date, I don't know, but I think there were several people in his ear saying, yes, commit some violence, commit some attack. This is a good thing.
Solomon Henderson, they believe, had become ensnared in a dark web known as nihilistic violent extremism, a network of various
Yeah, this is the type of shit. Nihilistic violence extremism.
groups, some with neo-Nazi connections, groups like the Maniacs Murder Cult, Order of Nine Angles, and
Then the Order of Nine Angles is what they think is him and Rupp now were following each other on socials, is that the girl that committed the Christian school shooting and shit like that? They were really following each other as socials. Yo, the Order of Nine Angles is like the most famous one, and it's also the one that people are suspecting that the San Diego shooters did. And yeah, that's crazy.
And no lives matter. They target kids.
That shit said no lives matter. So this
in
is
online
crazy.
spaces, some as young as elementary school, hoping to get control of their minds and make them do their.
Dude, imagine we did all this. Like, I don't want to like talk to fucking kids, but imagine if we did this for a positive purpose. Like, say, like, imagine we targeted kids to make them fucking communists and arm the proletariat from a young age and like have the fucking revolutionary vanguard. But instead, we channel this nihilism to motherfucking murk your classmates for no goddamn reason. And even in your sphere, whatever the fuck you're trying to do, what are you accomplishing by doing this shit?
Teaching them to hate themselves, to hurt themselves, using some of those early actions to blackmail them into hurting other people in some cases.
In his manifesto, Henderson thanked the people he called my handlers, adding, "You helped me along with my journey through the process of hate. You taught me how to hate."
What a fucking goofy, bro. Like, nigga took pictures like this. I hate. There's so many hate groups targeting kids out there. This is like the groups of incels, and incels do not mind talking to. Oh yeah, that's true. Like, that's honestly their MO. That's probably like the main people they be talking to, because it's like, you think they're gonna be talking to girls? I mean, there are femcels. I'm not really too familiar with femcels, but don't they just hate? Aren't they on the same shit as incels?
And it will change the world. And you think he did have handlers who were kind of calling some of the shots?
Yes. Yes, I do. That's why he posted certain things.
They still don't know where the
That's why he streamed portions of the event. We believe he's trying to piece them.
In fact, Dickerson suspects another incident where
Yes, this is what I'm looking for, where this nigga was looking crazy. Bro had an SS uniform on and shit. Who the fuck did this dude think he was, man? Nigga thought he was Himmler, bruh. These goofy ass dudes, but then again, he's just so indoctrinated, so it's like he's just lost in the sauce, man.
Henderson had brought a box cutter to school and threatened another student, may have been one of his tests.
And we believe so. We believe that was them working up to see how far can we get him to go.
Investigators believe one of those influencers may have been this man, known as
this guy. Where the fuck is he based
Commander
out of?
Butcher. Mikhail Chikhik-Bishvili from the former Soviet Republic of Georgia led a
Okay, that makes sense. I feel like they're not. A lot of these motherfuckers, like that are the handlers, they look like Asmongold fans.
Nazi extremist group known as the Maniacs Murder Cult. Authorities say Henderson left behind a recording where he claimed he carried out the shooting on behalf of that group, along with another related group known as 764.
And that's something we see, that a lot of these groups
Imagine those dudes that are your handlers, like say, yeah, we already killed someone. We killed someone, so now you got to do it. And they didn't do shit. Imagine how much of a psycho you got to be to like convince a kid to kill people. And then what? Then they get arrested, and then that's
what's scary.
Maniacs Murder Cult has now been classified as a terrorist organization by Canada and the United Kingdom. Is some of this potentially state-sponsored?
Connecting those dots on paper is a little tricky, but we have reason to think that
I have reason to believe that this is state-sponsored by motherfucking Israel.
some of this is.
I think the original femcels were from the 48 movement, which was actually like extreme feminism, not in a bad way, where women try to dissenter men and not speak to them. Okay, that's better. That makes a lot of sense, because I didn't know if it was like femcels were really on that type of shit or if they were aligned with incels.
Intentional and coming from outside the United States.
I have seen some right-wing, weren't there like right-wing femcels?
Countries that want to sow chaos in our society.
Yes, absolutely.
In the case of Mikhail Chikhik-Bishvili, the man accused of influencing Henderson, he recently pleaded guilty to federal charges of devising a plot to murder racial minorities and others in New York City on New Year's Eve by dressing up as Santa Claus and handing out candy laced with poison.
This has really been heavily influenced by something we call militant accelerationism, which just means that there are people who think society as it
it's militant accelerationism, which is very violent.
exists is really bad, that it's coming to some kind of close, and it's their job to make that end of society happen even faster.
It's a theme that's repeated throughout Solomon Henderson's manifesto. You have this image And then the West has fallen, billions must die, accelerate, accelerate, accelerate.
Accelerate. Oh yeah, they had that crazy Nazi image. And then I think there's femcells that are like Rup now and originate just as the female version of incels. But I think they literally associate with incels, not a separate group of femcells, I think. Yeah, that's the type of shit that I'd be hearing too.
Well, what does that tell you?
That's clearly an accelerationist call with the text, right? This idea that society should meet its end sooner rather than later. These folks don't know what's going to come after that cataclysm, but their argument is it must be better than whatever we have right now.
Then there's this drawing that the shooter left behind. On the character's arm is a reference to another extremist group, 09A, the Order of Nine Angles, a group that combines neo-Nazism with Satanism and the dark world of the occult.
It's also signaling...
So is this a diss to them? Like, is he dissing the Order of Nine Angles and shit? Yes, now it's called Femosphere. Oh, okay. Is that... Yo, what's up? What's up? Is the Femosphere, though, are they aligned with incels? Or are they, like, against incels? That shit is the confusing part. And also, is this a diss towards the Order of Nine Angles?
Rape as an act, which is seen as a disruptive tactic for some accelerationists, something that's socially harmful, something that's promoted in some of these spaces.
We're pouring every resource we can into identifying the signs and symbols because they are out there.
As for Captain Dickerson's...
Dude, this shit was over a year ago, and this shit came out 7 days. So obviously, there's probably more people being radicalized right now. And it's like niggas in different countries that are fucking radicalizing American youth and youth from all over to do these crazy ass attacks. Obviously, these people are probably that are doing these are not totally right in the head. Because, like, when you look at this dude, like, look at this shit. Like, bruh, what the fuck are you doing, twin? Like, this is, like, where Kanye... Oh, I guess they were. They were locked in. She kind of looks like, she kind of looks like the girl from the Red Scare. From, like, Dasha. Like, bro, so fucking goofy. There was one... Well, I am Muslim, and I will not speak from my perspective as Muslim. If we remain silent about actions like these, you will be next. Yeah. I mean, the whole reason why we got into this conversation is we were just talking about the San Diego Mosque and shit, and how, like how the people that did that shit were, like, radicalized through Terrorgram, which is essentially what radicalized this guy, too. Can't find the picture with the red helmet, but yeah, bro was a black Nazi and shit. But his bestie was this girl who was apparently friends with him.
A memorial of flowers and candles honoring the victims of the shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. A teacher and a student were killed Monday when police say a 15-year-old girl opened fire with a handgun in a classroom during study hall. Neighbors say this photo, posted on social media in 2023, shows the suspect, police identified as Natalie Rupnow, who went by Samantha. Police say she died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
It appears that the motive was a combination of factors. Again, we cannot share that information at this.
We really got group chats where instead of niggas like be plotting on going to Japan or some shit like that, they be plotting on fucking committing mass murders.
Because we do not want to jeopardize the investigation.
Investigators are looking into social media accounts believed to be the shooters, showing signs of a gravitation towards potential neo-Nazi violence and engagement in forums venerating mass shooters.
There are always signs of a school shooting before it occurred. Some of you have reached...
It's weird though, because it's like, I feel like back in the day, school shootings, they weren't as like ideological. Like Columbine and shit was more what, like people just hated their classmates and shit like that. Like maybe they were like on some Satanist shit or something, but it was never like this, where it's like an organized network of neo-Nazis committing terrorism in these like splinter cell groups.
About Rupnow's social.
It's weird because she was racist. Yeah, it was, but she was friends with that other black dude. But I guess he had an identity crisis and had a bunch of Reese's. Yeah. Wait, who's Reese again?
Media activity prior to yesterday's shooting. We're looking into her online activity.
They searched her home and are
So
now
many
talking to her
names.
parents. The second grader says she was changing her shoes
Was
when the
Reese the
gunfire
Solomon
started
dude?
and had to leave them behind.
I just heard sobbing, and there was a teacher, and she was screaming like, "Ah, my leg, help!"
Bus driver
Yeah.
met.
Even when we were in school, though, there was this culture of don't be super mean to the quiet loser because he might shoot up the school. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was more so that, and like, it was more so like a bullying thing rather than like a white supremacy thing. Because, like, at least with bullying, like, you can motherfucking, like, you know, prevent that by not bullying the person and like creating a positive environment. But in this situation, the only way you can prevent that is you can't even prevent this from having a diverse environment or a non-diverse environment. Like, even if it's all white people, they still might kill these people just for the sake of being a terrorist.
Mojica's son survived a shooting at a school in Waukesha in 2019. She and her co-workers came to the school to pay their respect.
We used to solve it by making them prom kings and queens. For real. But then now I really don't know how you solve this shit. And they're moving from motherfucking like schools to places of worship. Now we gotta prove human rights.
Saying the trauma will be with this community for a long time.
It brought back all the memories.
It's crazy that they were friends, man, that they were posted up. Just saw their live stream. Yes, they live streamed the whole thing, suicide and all. Oh my fucking god. Well, actually, I mean, like, that's not surprising. He's talking about you're talking about like the fucking the San Diego shooters, right? That's like part of it. Like, that's what the dude did in fucking like in the shooting in New Zealand. Ah, so that sounds very familiar. This is almost like identical.
The horrific terror attack that unfolded in New Zealand overnight. Not one, but two mosques.
She was also very into one motherfucker. The first answer murderer, I forget his name. He drove a sports car and he killed a bunch of people back in 2008. God damn. Yeah, holy shit.
Mosques in Christchurch were targeted. The country's worst mass
This is like one of the things that kind of radicalized a lot of people, like in the live streaming of all this shit and writing people's, because this shooter live streamed and then he wrote a bunch of like past shooters' names like on his gun, and this is like kind of the original.
At least 49 people were killed and dozens wounded
they killed
during
50 people in a fucking mosque.
services. They were in prayer. The mosques are just 3 miles apart. The victims who did get out covered in blood were rushed to the hospital. The gunman who wrote of white nationalism was armed with at least 2 semi-automatic weapons and 2 rifles. Many of the survivors barely escaping, scaling walls to get through windows, police racing to the scene, officers chasing down the suspect.
No, he painted on his gun. No, he posted murders and rapes of white women done by Arabs. Oh, okay, that makes sense. You're talking about the Christ, like this dude, or you're talking about one of the people from motherfucking San Diego? But I know he also BT. Wait, what's BT? Torrent. Wait, let me see. What is that? I don't even know what is that. I'm not sure.
Suspect who was dressed in army fatigues. Tonight, what we've just learned about the gunman and what our correspondent just asked President Trump. Does he see white nationalism as a rising threat around the world? His response, and New Zealand's prime minister now responding to that. ABC's Will Carr is on the scene for us
This
in
was
New Zealand
7
tonight.
years ago, and now it's gotten even worse.
Tonight, chaos and shock. Unimaginable horror after a deadly anti-Muslim terror attack on two.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. I just didn't. These kids wrote on their guns. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I just had fucking I didn't remember the guys' names, but the kids from the San Diego Mosque shit was basically, I feel like, heavily inspired by this shit. How's the governor's race looking? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get into that shit also. This shit is just such a deep dive, and yeah, I mean, we saw a bunch of terrorgram and shit like that. The governor's race we're gonna get into, but currently just TLDR. I'm gonna get into it a little bit later in the stream, but essentially I think Becerra is still leading, and as I checked the polls previously, like still has Steve Hilton as the front, but like obviously when more Democrats either drop out, which Newsom says it's gonna happen, they're either gonna go to Becerra or they're either gonna go to Steyer, and I'm actually going to a Steyer event, like a union event today, so. I think it's either going to be between Becerra and Steyer, but we're going to look at the polls after this shit. But let's switch gears, because this shit is silence means not objecting to any action you witness without speaking up or taking any action about this, thus contributing to its continuation. Silence means not objecting to any action you witness without speaking up or taking any action about it. Yes, that's true. That's why we speak about this shit, man. That's why I be talking about this and explaining it and showing the signs of like what the fuck is even going on. Because honestly, this shit is fucking crazy, and someone has to talk about it. But Trump, I don't even know if he has a respond to this shit. But
President Trump there amid a symphony.
Yeah, let's should we go? Yeah, let's see what Trump is fucking doing. After this crazy, massive terrorist attack, Trump is sitting here talking about the motherfucking Epstein Memorial Ballroom that is costing now almost $1 billion in taxpayer monies. Initially, it was supposed to be privately funded, but now he's trying to make it $400 million in taxpayer money, and then now he's saying it's going to be $1 billion.
Of hammers and saws, speaking to reporters after giving them a tour of the ballroom construction project there at the White House, called the ballroom a gift to the country, saying he is on budget. And
when you reject a certain action, you speak up or do something to reject that action, but silence means you're listening to it to continue. Yes, and that happens for a lot of things. People have to speak up, even when it's something that's fucking difficult. And, you know, not everything is black and white. Like, you see what happens with, like, Israel and shit. A lot of times people speak up in the Palestinian, like, genocide, but and they get hated on. But at the end of the day, you usually get proven right if you speak out and it's something that's important. The thing about leftists is we speak out too early and people hate us until they don't. So let's see what Trump has to say.
Safety requirements for the building. He also spoke about Iran, saying that Iran is begging to make a deal, but that he may have to strike the country again. He said yesterday he was just 1 hour away from making the decision for U.S. forces to start.
At this point, he's just screaming, I plan to be in that house for, yeah, because it's like, they're building, I think he's building a motherfucking, he's building a hospital, they're building a bunker, they're building a whole bunch of shit in there. So I don't know if he's going to give up and leave. Like, it seems like he's going to stay in that fucking bunker, and it's huge.
Striking Iran again today.
Yeah, we were supposed to stop striking Iran, but it looks like we're continuing with that
before
shit.
The president decided to call off those attacks to keep negotiating. Let's bring in our senior White House correspondent, Gabe Gutierrez, who's been listening along with us. I guess didn't get to join the tour.
Yeah, like, bunker, and he's about to be well, we don't know if he's going to be a lame duck because it's not looking good for the midterms. But my homegirl that I'm about to do a show with tomorrow was actually saying that, you know, all that redistricting, what if the redistricting wasn't just to take away black people's votes, but he was trying to get 2/3 of Congress in total so they could change the Constitution, do other shit like that. That was her theory, but I mean, it's going to take a lot more, but that's why, like, I mean, I don't know if it's possible to get 2/3, especially with California, and we took away, like, a lot of Republican shit. Illinois is going to have to do something. I mean, they struck down Virginia, but all the blue states are going to have to go all hands on deck. But regardless, they're trying to rig it so they don't lose the House. The Senate is going to be harder. It's always harder for us to gain the Senate, like any Democrat or something like that. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a leftist. But, you know, at the end of the day, the Senate is a little bit harder. It's more, the Founding Fathers made it so the Senate sort of balances out the House of Representatives, because the House of Representatives is by population, but everything's equal by Senate. So even a motherfucking state with Wyoming that has goddamn fucking like 15 people and a couple cows has the same amount of power as California.
There of the White House construction project. Again, noteworthy here, the president saying that he got a call from negotiators saying, sir, we're close to a deal, but we need a little more time. That Iran knew they were getting close to an attack, and now saying basically maybe the decision will come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe even early next week. What stands out from the president's comments there?
Well, Joe, this was an impromptu news conference, as you mentioned. This one's not on the president's public schedule, but certainly he felt that he needed to take the press pool out for this tour of the White House ballroom. So I'll talk about that in a second, but yes, the headline.
We speak out or do anything about these crimes to preserve our humanity as human beings. This is for our own sake, not just for anyone suffering from them. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it is. It's not just for them, because it's like if they'll do it to them, what makes you think they won't do it to you? That's why it's a litmus test for these Democrats that are all like motherfucking Cory Booker that says it's not I'm not falling for these litmus tests about Palestine, or Alice Stanford that's like, I'm not falling for these litmus tests about Palestine and shit like that. At the end of the day, twin, if you're not even willing to stand up against something as atrocious as genocide, how in the fuck are we going to think that you're even going to stand up against corporations or stand in any way, shape, or form our values or just humanity in general? You know, that's something that it's like basic, you know, like that's why we speak out on that shit. And that's why it's not just a litmus test. It's a litmus test of whether or not you're a fucking psycho.
From Iran, really going into detail a little bit more than what he had said yesterday, putting off that strike on Iran, saying he was within an hour, as you mentioned, of
more market manipulation. You already know. This goofy ass nigga though. Look,
and it comes over the right.
He was speaking about he was insulting. For me, Palestine is the issue where I have most witnessed the hypocrisy of international organizations and laws talk about it. Because it's like, what the fuck is the UN doing? What the fuck is any of this shit? The global collaboration. Like, isn't the UN here so nothing like this in the World War II happens? My high school offered a course called Genocide, and that was the best shit they ever did. The whole class broke down how genocides are able to happen from compliant to nationalism, etc. That's what's currently happening in Israel also. Like they have like a nationalist like ideals, and even like the liberal people in Israel be like trying to exterminate, not all of them. There's some leftists in Israel that be burning their draft cards and shit. The world could be better if people from the first world were less selfish. Yeah, that's true. But you know what that is? It's fucking capitalism and hoarding. And it's like they have so much but are willing to give away none of it. And it's crazy as fuck. And as sad as it is, it's something that's, you know, we gotta globally fight against. The teacher that had already told us about Palestine, Rwanda, Armenia, and everything. And all that shit is connected. A lot of these people are the same players and shit, man. But I found this a little funny. Trump, while he was looking at his Epstein Memorial Ballroom, he insulted the Democrats, calling them the Democrats. You know, he used to have such better names like Crooked Hillary or Little Marco. You know, this is how you know he's losing it a little bit, man. He's losing it. He can't think on his feet like how he used to. He can only call them the Democrats. I don't even think he came up with that, but he was insulting it, and then his little placard, look at what happened.
It's the Democrats. They're dumb.
It's a new name. It's a very accurate name. So I'm in the middle of a negotiation. I'm saying you cannot have a nuclear weapon. And it comes over the wire that the Democrats want to stop Trump from further negotiations. They want to stop Trump from, if he has to, giving them another slap. They want to have a nuclear weapon.
Shit just fell over. I mean, I find it. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's what people need to start using. Yo, that's crazy. Where's my file button? Do I still have that? Okay, I still got it. Okay, I guess it only works one. He do be he be doing hella drugs, and he's on hella life-saving drugs because he's not looking too good. His health is all fucked up. Yo, we're gonna start using that shit. Hopefully motherfucking hopefully they don't like start spamming that shit, but I'm definitely gonna start using that shit and posting stuff. Yeah, so
striking
bro talks about
Iran today. But yes,
I'm only just listening to this because he's giving a little update on Iran and shit like that.
No firm details of where we stood with negotiations, only repeating what he has often said, that Iran is begging to make a deal. He was also asked about the primaries, of course, that are underway in multiple states, 6 states.
I'm ashamed that we are asking these criminals to hold other war criminals accountable. Yeah, it's like, you know, when the FBI, they do some crazy shit and we're like, we're going to investigate ourselves. That's what it's like. Because it's like, and this guy, he can't even hold his fucking hair accountable. So it's like, he's not holding shit accountable.
Today, especially that closely watched contest in...
I hate the fact that every single time that they talk about the Iran war, they're like, a deal is so close. A deal is so close. I wish they at least treated it like Russia and Ukraine, where it's like, we don't know what the fuck is happening. Niggas are dying. They're getting killed by fucking Timu drones and shit. That would be a lot more truthful than whatever the fuck people be talking about. The war is so... The war is obviously... We're blockading a goddamn blockade. No one is getting any goddamn oil. They're not going to, like, they have all the leverage. Do you really think the war is almost over, sir?
Kentucky, the House primary there, putting Congressman Thomas Massie against the Trump-backed challenger.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about Thomas Massie.
Congressman, thank you for taking...
Thomas Massie. In Ukraine, they got fucking robot dogs with machine guns in there. They do. They got some crazy shit. Because they were tired of kidnapping people off the street to fight because the war was going on so long. But speaking on Thomas Massie, this is a very, 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 very important race. The only things that I agree with him on are obviously the Epstein files and not going to war. But this is a referendum of whether or not AIPAC can control our elections. Because this race is the most expensive primary of all time. In a motherfucking bumblefuck Kentucky, their AIPAC is trying to take this dude out. They're putting belt to ass on this motherfucker. They're pulling all stops. They got Trump, their biggest investment of $200 million. Hypocrisy, crimes, and depravity. This is the reality of international organizations and law. Yeah, I mean, bro, look at the fucking UN. UN ain't been doing shit. UN stands for underperforming and shit. I don't even know. UN be going out sad as fuck. But speaking of which, this Thomas Massie, if he pulls this out, even though I don't fuck with 95% of the things that he does, because, you know, he's like a weird ass libertarian and shit like that. But he's anti-Israel. And if he pulls this out, it just shows that you can beat the fucking AIPAC machine. You're so right, bro. If Massie loses, that's terrible. AIPAC would truly have asserted their power. The one thing that I give respect about Massie, besides him being a ghoul and having all these conservative values and shit, is he's willing to fight Trump and he's willing to fight AIPAC. And at the end of the day, he doesn't give a fuck whether he wins or loses. It's kind of like a Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman situation, but they were caught at the wrong time when people weren't paying attention to this shit. Thomas Massie, in this shit, no matter what happens, he's going to be probably the start of people that just don't give a fuck. And at the same time, like, there's very few people. I mean, there's people like this in the Democratic side, but I think more of the people like this. I mean, you got like AOC, you got like Ilhan Omar, but they have pretty safe seats. And also, they don't have the Republican president that's pretty much trying to take your ass out. So it's very interesting. And if he wins, it, like, I mean, obviously, it's not, I'm not a fan of him that much, but it will be showing that we can beat AIPAC. And money, however much money they put into this primary, which is crazy as fuck that they're spending this money in a primary, is wild. But we got a whole foreign ass government in motherfucking Tel Aviv out here trying to fucking control government elections. It's ironic that they consider Israel to be defending itself when they are actually aggressors and occupiers of that country. Not only did they occupy it, but they also, yes, but that, you and I both know that right to defend itself is just marketing, bro. We're just so cucked out to the motherfucking Israeli lobby, all these Democrats and Republicans. And that's why this is important, because if he can beat this, maybe it will give other people like motherfucking Cory AIPAC Booker the balls to not, I mean, I don't know. Cory Booker seems cooked as fuck. He's already, currently Cory Booker's in West Philly, like trying to fucking campaign for the pro-Israel dude. So maybe he'll never fucking change. But let's see what Thomas Massie got to say.
With precious hours to go, what is your sense of the state of the race?
Well, we've got the momentum on the ground. If the
His
ground
race
game
is
was
literally
worth
a couple
anything-
hours ago, a couple hours away, and this is going to be interesting. What the fuck happens? And like, he's saying that he has momentum on the ground.
It's ours. Our opponent canceled events on Saturday because he didn't have enough people to show up, and we've had dozens of people at every stop, even in small towns like this.
AIPAC is so evil that, not in this case, I think they're kind of like just saying that they're AIPAC and shit, and they're saying like smears against him. I think they had like Laura Loomer say that he fucked Lauren Boebert, and like said that he had a phone where he put all his booty calls in that shit. It was saying crazy shit. Of course, I would expel the enemy from my country if he approaches, but America considers these criminals to have the right to live in that country. This is no different than what Nazi Germany did to the Jews. Yeah, man. Like, honestly, Israel should register as a foreign agent. And the last person who thought of that was JFK, and look what happened to his ass.
That have only 1,000 people in them.
There have been more than $32 million.
$32 million on his primary campaign. Keep in mind, primaries are only done by like the most motherfucking, like, the general election is usually everybody, except in California because we have jungle primaries and shit like that. But the motherfucking primaries are only the most engaged voters. It's to find the most engaged people possible. So the fact that they dumped 30 million people, yeah, Netanyahu did defend Hitler. Netanyahu is motherfucking Hitler. He's the modern day Hitler. Fuck that nigga. Sideways, backwards, upside down. I will literally be live streaming him in The Hague. And he's about to lose too. He's about to lose to a more liberal person who's still fucking gonna be a war criminal. But, you know, it's a step in the right direction because I hate his ugly ass face.
Spent on a primary.
But they put $32 motherfucking million into a primary that can be decided by not that much. Like, primaries can be decided by a couple hundred votes.
Congressional district, which is now the most expensive House
Especially
primary.
if it's like a closed primary. But it's the most expensive primary of all time.
Ever in the United States. Is it worth it?
You'd have to ask Miriam Adelson on May 20th if it was worth it.
Miriam Adelson is putting all that money. Yo, if y'all love the Mavs, if y'all love like the Sands casinos and shit, that's what you got to think about it, man. Not only did she trade Luka, but she's trying to take this man out. And in Republican districts, you can use like, say he's not Christian enough or say he's not this or that. Even J.D. Vance was going against this motherfucker when they were friends. It just shows how deep Marion Adelson, that evil cunt, witch, bitch, fucking demon spawn is, man. I fucking hate that lady. Her husband died and is resting in hell. and she took up the mantle, and she's a fucking demon. She gave Trump $250 million to continue this goddamn genocide. And it's still going, man.
Because, they tried to buy my vote for 14 years and it was never for sale. Now they're trying to buy a seat here in Kentucky. I think they underestimated the reserve price of my constituents. They waded into this. They thought they could buy this seat with a couple million. That didn't work. And now they're throwing good money after bad. The thing that surprised me is how much money we've been able to raise. I don't have 3 billionaires who
he doesn't.
want to just...
But he's gotten grassroots because people don't fuck with Israel. And if you put that out there, you can win.
Throw their money away. I've got the grassroots, tens of thousands of donations. Average donation for me is about $80. And we've been able to go toe to toe. A lot of that 32 million is coming from our side, but it's coming from regular working Americans.
When you say that they spent money to try to buy this, who are you talking about specifically?
I'm talking about the Israeli lobby, AIPAC, Republican Jewish Coalition, Miriam Adelson, Paul Singer, and John Paulson.
Yeah, they're all coming after him and shit. Full speed ahead. They're going after this nigga. And I feel like this shows that I feel like this is a sign for Democrats too. Like Cory Booker, who he might be a lost cause. I hope that he disappears into obscurity and shit like this. But this should be definitely a sign for Democrats to motherfucking, get your shit together and stop fucking bending the knee at our greatest ally. Man, fuck Israel. What the fuck have they done for that? Our greatest ally has us paying $7 goddamn for the gas. For what? It has 13 Americans fucking dying. For what? It has our gas infrastructure in the Middle East, even though it's our imperialist project, done. For what? They literally have created madness in our country. These niggas hate us. Israel fucking hates us. They hate you. They hate me. They hate all of us. And they're still trying to control this shit. And if you speak out on it, these motherfuckers are going to say that you're fucking like Nick Fuentes or some shit. Like, god damn. Way more than 13 probably died on that shit. It's crazy. Like, I get riled up on this shit. And it's understandable. But the worst part is, in the Republican, at least in the Republican races, they say like, yeah, we're fucking AIPAC. In the Democrat races, they use dark money and they'll say like liberal black women pack. And it's really just AIPAC in another name funding this shit and then just literally destroying our country. You're a Trump endorsed Ken Paxton. Tallarico has got this shit in the bag for real. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna cover the Texas race another day, but like, yeah, Ken Paxton is both of them niggas are freaks. But then again, it's like Texas, which is heavily gerrymandered, and then on top of the fact that like, niggas in Texas are crazy. Tallarico just needs to get out like a lot of the vote, but Tallarico did get out a lot of Hispanic voters, which is something that is really good. So he could honestly end up winning. I hope that he wins, even though he's a little soft on Israel. But I mean, he's from Texas, so we're not gonna get no fucking like social justice warrior or some shit like that.
These are the groups that have given 95%.
But at least he's against Israel, though. For now, hopefully he doesn't turn into motherfucking John Fetterman.
My opponent, because they're mad at me over foreign policy. Now, what's interesting is my policy has always been, no country is special, and no country deserves my.
Funny thing is, this dude is Republican as fuck. This ain't no AOC or none of that shit. This dude is Republican. The only thing he disagrees on is Israel, and I think he disagrees on the Iran war. But they treat this nigga like he's fucking, I don't even know, like he's Barack Hussein Obama.
Constituents' taxpayer dollars. So I have never voted for foreign aid to Egypt, to Syria, to Israel, or to Ukraine. But the ones in Israel, since they're the biggest recipients of it, that makes them a little bit mad.
What's so wrong about helping defend Israel from Iranian?
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is CBS, which is basically owned by the Ellisons. What's so wrong about sending money to Israel to defend? So I'm sure all you guys in the chat already know this, but I'm going to explain it anyways, just in case you don't know. When they use that example of we need to fund the Iron Dome, fuck no. We don't. First off, we don't need to fund shit. We need to fund American healthcare. We need mothers to be able to have long maternity leave so they can be with their children. We need fucking healthcare. We need mental health so niggas don't end up being in these weird ass group chats killing people. We need to fund the hood. We need to fund the trailer parks. We need even neo-Nazis to have health care. What we don't need is to be funding fucking the Iron Dome. Because the Iron Dome is just like, you know, it's a defensive measure. So like when people fire rockets at Israel, that they shoot them down, right? Let's go back into history. There would be no Hamas, there would be no Hezbollah, there would be no Palestinian resistance. Also, guys, like, wasn't this all England's idea anyways? Weren't they the ones that, yes, they did. They separated it on fucking lines, like how they always do on sectarian lines, to basically not give a fuck and cause conflict to, you know, British shit. But when we fund Iron Dome, we basically give them the ability to fucking do whatever because they have a defense. It's like, for instance, if two people have guns and they're not using it, if you give one guy a bulletproof vest, he's going to be more inclined to shoot the other guy because he has a fucking protection. So it's like, we shouldn't be arming either of them with these defensive shits, so that way they have to live in peace and not fucking kill each other, which is like, makes the most sense. So let's get into this shit a little bit.
We've got debt. I mean, at least with NATO, there's the promise of a reciprocal arrangement. With Israel, it's completely one way. And they've drug us into wars. They've convinced us that Iran is just days away from a nuclear weapon, and they're perpetually that way.
Iran has been days away from a nuclear weapon since I was in the womb.
This is not our war. Israel, for instance, funds abortions publicly. I think a lot of Republicans would be aghast to know that we're giving...
Yeah, Israel funds abortions. That's also, like, he's anti-abortion, so you know he's pissed at that. They only use that logic for Islamic countries. Don't ever, nukes or proper defense. Israel has nukes and we never fucking wonder about that. And the Iron Dome fucking defense that no one ever brings up. Shouldn't Palestine have an Iron Dome since they constantly get hit by fucking Israeli rockets and shit like that? You know, that's questionable.
$3.8 billion a year, every year, to a country that funds public abortions.
The president earlier today called you...
Yeah, bro's stance was on abortions and shit. That's how you know he's kind of a lunatic.
An obstructionist and a fool. What's your response?
Yeah, Trump basically called him out by name. He said he was an obstructionist, and a fool.
Well, he knows I'm not a fool. He calls me a sharp cookie when we talk privately. He brags on his uncle, who taught at MIT 41 years, because he knows I went to MIT and got 2 degrees. So he knows I'm not a fool. He knows I'm tough, too. He calls me a tough cookie when we talk on the phone.
The war in Palestine continues, and we have entered its 3rd year. What has the international community done to hold war criminals accountable? Nothing. Therefore, they're a bunch of deranged people. They are, and I wouldn't even consider it a war. It's just a genocide. A war is 2 fucking powers. This is just an insurgent. It's not even an insurgency. It's a resistance group fighting against, I guess they're insurgents. It's a resistance group fighting against a genocidal maniac inbred fucking group. Niggas from fucking Connecticut flying over just to get their brains melted by a nigga in a fucking by a nigga that made a rocket out of a bathtub with sandals on and shit. He calls them a tough cookie when we're on the phone.
Because he knows I don't crumble. He knows when I take a position, I stand on that position, and he knows I'm tough to beat. He's tweeted probably, 8 or 10 times in the last 72 hours. He's literally losing sleep over this race because he's in with both feet.
We were talking about earlier how, like, not having sleep is a way to get dementia. And I definitely think that Trump's dementia is hitting different because he doesn't fucking sleep. He really be up tweeting like a motherfucker way too goddamn much. 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I don't know if he has AIDS doing it, but it sounds like him fucking doing that shit.
And I think their polling shows what our polling shows, which is there's a better than half chance that we're going to win this race.
When was the last time you spoke with him by phone?
I talked to him last summer.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Okay. And since then, you've been a leading proponent of changes.
Yeah, so he hates the fuck out of Massie. I forgot to mention, he hates the fuck out of Massie for multiple reasons. The number one reason why he hates Massie is because he was one of the people that co-signed the bill to release the Epstein files. And it had Trump looking crazy. And ever since that, he fucking hates him. Even though he's the Epstein president and we need to release the files. No, fuck all that.
And how the Justice Department handles the Epstein files. And then, of course, has become a pretty vocal critic of the war with Iran. So the two things that really set him off, or that he's most sensitive to, you've been one of his lead critics.
Well, you know, that's how you drain the swamp. You bring transparency. And I did lead the fight to get the Epstein Files Transparency Act passed. It eventually passed 427-1 in the House and 100-0 in the Senate. And then the president signed it. He could have vetoed it, but he decided to sign my signature legislation. And it's since resulted in...
It's crazy. He signed it, but then he's still mad. But he was forced to sign it, because if he didn't sign it, then it would look even worse. But I mean, like, you know, these Trump fans don't give a fuck. Weren't there some people that were like, well, if Trump took my daughter on the Epstein Island, I would cry a little bit, but he's still the only God-forsaken president that we got.
His title, the British ambassador to the United States, has been arrested. Former prime ministers and the CEO of the World Economic Forum have all been taken out by the Epstein files. They're trying to avoid...
Isn't it crazy that everyone else's country had like some type of shit where they got in trouble for the Epstein files besides our country?
Any kind of accountability in the United States. They know if I stick with this, eventually some of our miscreants, perverts, and co-conspirators are going to go to jail.
In 2026, given that
some of them are going to go to jail, that's why they got to get him out. He sounds like when I was being abused and trying to convince everyone that he's actually a real good guy sometimes to me in private. Yeah. But I mean, in this case, he was talking about years ago. Like, he wasn't talking recently, but yeah,
as a GOP
little
primary.
bit.
In 2026, what does it mean to be a Republican?
You know, that's what this race is about. What does it mean to be a Republican?
Yeah, what does it mean to be a Republican? Kind of a psycho. But he's just less of a psycho compared to, like, he's like one of those, you know, conservative, good old boy Republicans. I guess he's smart because he went to MIT. And Trump is a straight fascist. And I'm going to show you how he's a straight fascist, because we got to cover this thing. Basically, there's a $1.7 billion bill that's coming out, coming out of your pockets. All y'all motherfuckers in this chat are going to be paying for this shit. You're going to be paying the bills of all the pedophile, rapists, like child porn distributors that went to January 6th and got arrested and got pardoned by Trump. All their legal fees and all their like fees for emotional distress and shit like that, y'all are paying for that shit, because Trump basically is giving them $1.7 billion. Yeah, they do. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. This fucking dumbass troglodyte went to Wharton Business School, which is crazy, but let's see what they got to say.
The Justice Department has this new fund that was announced today, $1.7 billion.
Yeah.
Why should taxpayers pay for the January 6th?
Well, it's been very well received, I have to tell you. I know very little about it. I wasn't involved in the whole...
You were fucking there, you old-ass, ball-sack, skin-looking piece of shit. Next to RFK, who's in a K-hole, and Dr. Oz, who's thinking about how he hates Armenians. And is that a obese Mark Cuban? God damn.
Creation of it and the negotiation, but this is reimbursing people that were horribly.
Oh God, let's see. My bad. I fucking.
It's been very well received, I have to tell you. I know very little about it. I wasn't involved in the whole creation of it and the negotiation, but this is reimbursing people that were horribly treated. It's anti-weaponization. They've been weaponized.
Yeah, these people that stormed the government and motherfucking like tried to commit treason, tried to kill Mike Pence, were horribly treated, right? That makes sense, right? They're such victims, right? Bunch of fucking baboons, man.
They've been in some cases imprisoned wrongly. They paid legal fees that they didn't have.
Some of them got pardoned and went back to jail for having fucking child porn.
They've gone bankrupt. Their lives have been destroyed. And
they deserve to be bankrupt.
Turned out to be right. I mean, it was a terrible period of time in the history of our country.
In what way did they turn out to be right? Doesn't even fucking make sense.
And they worked on it. I know the Justice Department, it's really been working on it very hard. There's been numerous other occasions over the years where things like this have been done, but these were people that were weaponized and really treated brutally by a system that was so corrupt, with corrupt people running it, and they're getting reimbursed for their legal fees and the other things that they had to suffer.
Yeah, so apparently motherfucking their victims and were treated so wrong because they were like, you know, trying to take over the government. They're just a little bean insurrectionist and shit like that. They're just a little bean. They didn't mean it. They won't do it next time. They're so sorry. We're sorry. We tried to fucking kill Nancy Pelosi. We tried to zip tie all of Congress. We tried to kick down doors. We had Ashley Babbitt who got straight dome shotted and shit. Yeah. It's crazy, gang. I don't know why this shit isn't dinging right now, but it's wild, man. But that's all I got for today. Wait, let me make sure this sound is on point. Let me make sure this sound is on point. Wait, let me make sure this sound. Yeah, the sound is on point. Yeah, that's all we got for today. But I got a special announcement. Tomorrow I'm gonna be doing a stream. Okay, the sound came back. They'll do some vile and scream victim. It's fascism as a whole, because fascism, they're both the victims. And before, don't hop off yet, because I got an important announcement. So today I'm going to a labor union like rally. I think I might see Hassan there. I'm gonna try to get this nigga a motherfucking a sticker if I'm able to. So that way, maybe we could get him on a stream or a collab or some shit, or we could get on a stream, even though that probably won't happen because I don't got no motion. But everybody wants the black demographic, you know. That's what the Nithya Raman campaign. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with y'all niggas. When I was like pitching the idea of like, yo, I could pull up to the trailer park with Nithya Raman and we could talk about this shit, the dude was like, that would be a great idea, you know, because she needs more black people and shit. And yeah, so that, I mean, it is what it is, but maybe it would be cool to do a collab with Hassan. Probably not. I don't really give a fuck. I'm gonna just give him a sticker. But I'm going there to support the union and Tom Steyer and shit like that. And also tomorrow I'm doing a special stream with a organizer activist named Sierra that basically is she debated Ben Shapiro. She's been on Jubilee a bunch of times like that. She's super cool, super knowledgeable, and is like almost like a mentor to me with this shit, because she literally introduced me to Tom Steyer's fucking niece and shit. So maybe I'm locked into that family and I can ask for $1 billion fucking dollars. Nah, I'm kidding, because you know they had that whole scandal about where they didn't pay the fucking, or they didn't disclose that they were paying influencers and shit like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got today. I'm gonna be streaming at the same time. I'm just gonna be in a studio and we're gonna be streaming, talking shit, talking about the news. What the fuck? The Cars for Kids scam. I forgot that shit was still on that shit. But if you on here, man, make sure you sub the fuck up. If you got Amazon Prime, make sure you sub on Amazon Prime. It is a free. Oh, wait. Fuck. I'm gonna just talk about it tomorrow. Because basically Adin Ross is possibly should I talk about it right now? Are y'all still in this motherfucker, or did y'all leave? Are y'all in here? Let me know if you're still in here. Fuck it. Nah, I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow. But basically Adin Ross. Okay. I think some people laugh and shit. But Adin Ross might be okay, if you're here, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. Adin Ross might be actually motherfucking he might be bailing out Chud the Builder. Oh wait, apparently not. Adin Ross and his lawyers, it could be fake, but this is like currently coming out right now that Adin Ross, there's multiple reports of this. Apparently it came out later that he said fuck no, because if he did this would be one of the craziest things that I've seen, and would be co-signing the fuck out of white supremacy. But Adin Ross and his lawyers, it said, are allegedly working to help secure Chud the Builder's $1.2 million bail after a reported jail voice message surfaced of Chud offering to fight for free for Adin's brand risk. I'll fight for free. Please, Adin. Please get me out of here. I'm begging. Pussy ass. Are you allowed to say, pussy ass saltine. I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna call him a saltine. Let's hear what he said. Let's hear what he had to say.
Listen, Adin, it's Dalton.
Yo, this is such low volume.
Help with the bond. I cannot access my funds until I get out of here because.
Oh yeah, he had a GoFundMe and shit.
Listen, Adin,
But
it's Dalton. Chud.
he had a GoFundMe, but the judge made it so he can't fucking Let me see if this is clear. Let me see if this is clear.
Get me out. Help with the bond. I cannot access
Okay,
my funds until
this
I
shit
get out
is
of here.
quiet as fuck. But y'all can hear this shit. Y'all can hear this shit, right? Let's hear it. He's begging on his knees. Adin Ross, please help. Please, President Trump, help me. Help me. Help me, President Trump. He says, Adin Ross, help me get a bond. I'll fight for free. Get me out of here.
Listen, Adin, it's Dalton. Chud, if you can get me out, help with the bond. I cannot access my funds until I get out of here because no one has access to any of my gifts and go or my crypto wallets, etc. I have to get out of here so that I can get verification processes to get into all of these funds. I will fight for free. If you can help me out, I will fight for free. Whatever it is. I need somebody with big money who can throw down, who can support me.
Wow. 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 How the tables have turned, man. You honking out right now, twin. You were sitting here having all this fun, smiling at black people, calling them chimps, calling them animals. Look who's in the fucking cage now, you piece of shit. Can't even talk to your family. Wife changed the name of your kid's name so it's not associated with you. You sad sack of shit. You racist piece of fucking shit. You thought you were so cool. I mean, maybe he didn't. It seemed like he didn't have anything to live for. And honestly, so like, yeah, what was Adin supposed to get out of that? What's the incentive to help? The incentive to help is Adin Ross has like this controversial boxing league, so he would Chud chimping out. He basically has a boxing league and he wants to fight in the boxing league for free and use the controversy to raise money so he can have verification to get his money because a bunch of fucking racist Neanderthals gave money to his what's it called? His motherfucking GoFundMe, but he doesn't have access to his GoFundMe currently in jail. Let me see if Adin Ross actually responded. Adin Ross apparently responded. Hopefully. Let's see if this dude is on the right side of history.
Can you bet on Chud, the Chud guy? What's his name again? Joe. Holy shit. So he is on here. Different. Can you pay his bail? Imagine the clips. Dude, fuck no. Absolutely fucking not. What the hell? Are you retarded? Can you bet on Chud?
Okay, so I guess that's the answer. He was begging. He's begging. He's probably going to beg Nick Fuentes. But Nick Fuentes didn't even like what he saw with Chud the Builder. Which is surprising. Yeah, he says Chud the Builder.
So I see a lot of people on the timeline defending this behavior saying, yeah, well, we should be able.
Like, if he's in the wrong, it looks like Chud the Builder's fault.
So I see a lot of people on the timeline defending this behavior saying, yeah, well, we should be able to say the N-word. I don't know. I don't want to be a victim of crime. I don't actually necessarily want to be out in public confronting black people, calling them niggers. Like, I actually... Excuse the racism, because, you know, this is a fucking Nazi and shit. But just to know what people say, if you're not tuned in, I mean, I get called this regularly online, and it doesn't really affect me and shit like that. But yeah, let's see. Don't want to do that. I don't think people should be fired for uttering the word. And I think it's a funny word. I don't think it should be treated like a blasphemy. But let's be honest, it's not a nice thing to say.
Yeah, no shit.
It's actually not a very nice thing to say. And I don't know that we should actually be out there saying, hey, man, we should be able to go up to black people and start blasting a slur that offends them without expecting them to be offended. Was that really ever the rallying cry? To me, it was more like, stop smoking weed in public, stop driving on the shoulder, talk more quietly, don't be on speakerphone all the time.
Yo, bro's racism is like so like he has such random ass gripes with his racism. Like his racism is like you drive on the shoulder and you smoke weed in public.
It's more things like that. So, I don't know what creating two obnoxious underclasses of victims, I don't know what that does for anybody. I don't know that lowering ourselves to their level is actually the solution.
Yeah, you fucking Nazi. It's not our fucking, it's not, it's not our level. Like, we don't do that shit. We don't go out of our way and motherfucking like antagonize white people like that or something, whatever the fuck he's talking about or some shit. But that's all I got. That's all I got for today. I mean, white people be smoking in public and shit too. But that is officially all I got for today. This was a W stream. I appreciate everyone that was on this motherfucker. Make sure you sub the fuck up. Make sure you follow the fuck up. If you're on YouTube, make sure you sub up. I'm very close. I'm trying to get to 500 subs and shit like that. I'm about to be out. Throw a sub my way if you can. Use Jeff Bezos' money, or it's $6. Help support independent media. You can donate underneath if you don't want to pay a full amount. Like, you could donate like $1 or something. It's underneath the stream and shit. It helps a lot. And at the end of the day, I mean, like, my healthcare bill is donezo this month. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford it. But I'm still grinding for y'all to give y'all this independent media. And that's what I'm going to do until the day that I fucking die or Mossad takes my ass out and they blame it on a car crash. So at the end of the day, man, I love y'all. I fucks with y'all. We going to keep this shit rocking. Until next time, gang.